we talk about a lot of books on the show. Happier Made Simple. Randye gave me this book and I read it. And this was one of the books that I read before I went to bed each night. And guys, I can't tell you, I was excited to read this book every single day. I was actually excited. I read one key phrase at a time. And I'm going to explain what the key phrases are. I've got a bookmark here that goes through all of them. But it's just an uplifting book. And you know what I like most about it, Randye? You wrote this book in your own voice. So you wrote it like you speak. And when I say that, I mean, it was uplifting. It was very personal. I got to know a lot about you that I didn't know before. And it was really funny. Like, you're a very funny and humorous person. And there was several times where I swear, I laughed out loud while reading it and it made me want to keep reading. So you epitomize, if that's even a word, the essence of adding humor to your everyday interactions in your writing. So everyone listening, you got to check out Happier Made Simple. We're going to talk about it today. But I'm curious, Randye, why this book at this chapter of your life? Why a book on happiness? Why Happier Made Simple? Why now?
I will answer that, but I just want to thank you for that review, so to speak, because what you said, you just enumerated exactly the reasons I wrote the book. If you want a book on being happier or on happiness, there's officially a gazillion of them. Just go to Barnes and Noble or go to Amazon and put in, and it's like, whoa, what do I do now? And research shows that most people read a chapter and a half and put it back on the shelf, or buy it and put it on the shelf.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what happens to me when I'm looking through a book, looking inside on Amazon or looking in a physical book at a bookstore, is that if I open it up and if the font is too small and it's single spaced and it just looks difficult to read, I'm likely to put it back on the shelf. And what many people told me when we talked about the journey to just live life feeling happier so that you do have the energy to help other people, to reach your goals, to, if you want to walk over the hot coals in a weekend retreat, you need the energy of being happier so you get unstuck. And so people said, well, I bought this book and I read it and I learned stuff, but I don't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do differently? Or it was too complicated. I don't want to get a master's in happiness. I just want to live a happier day. And so I thought about some of the things I've been through, and we've all been through stuff. I spent a year in a leg brace, and my husband abandoned the family in an alcoholic stupor, and I raised my kid, blah, 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 because everybody has stuff. But the question that I would always get when I would tell these stories or speak after my first book came out about my son's mental illness and how we are coping as a family, people would come up to me later and go, yay, thank you for sharing your story, but how do you stay so positive? How do you have the energy? And I just, I tell myself stuff. My book is all about self-talk, and it's not a new concept, but it's not so much what happens to you as the way you process it. And part of the way you process it and look ahead is in the words that you use when you talk to yourself. And so each chapter is a different phrase with a different concept that there have been whole books written about, but it starts with a story and the phrase I use to get myself through. And P.S., I make a living also as a radio personality and an actor. So finding the humor in stories made me a better speaker, made me a better radio personality. And I found in my years on morning radio that trauma and tragedy aside, look, those are their own processing things, but most things are funny eventually. And I learned to find the humor quicker. And when you're on a morning radio show every day, you're looking like a comedian does at your life going, well, that's hilarious. And then, so that's one of my chapters, which is different from a lot of books on happiness. And I chose Happier, Not Happiness for a reason. One of my chapters is on humor. And I find that is something that has helped me so much that it seems to be missing from some of the extremely serious happiness clubs that I've been to. I take Kabbalah and other things, and they go, oh, you got to listen to this guru. And I open up the YouTube and they don't crack a smile. And I'm like, enjoying your work or what? So anyway, that's why I wrote it, to make it accessible, to be conversational, to just tell my story and what helps me. And hey, try it, see if it works for you. And then at the end, to have these, I had a mug with this in it.
I love that.
These 7 core concepts and phrases, which spell out breathe, which is really important, so that you can go, oh yeah, you know which phrase I need right now? I need this phrase. We're all connected. That's the phrase I need to tell myself. And words have power. So when you tell yourself something, or maybe repeat it 3 or 4 times, it does start to sink in. So that's why I wrote it, to kind of uncomplicate ways to be happier, without the goal to be happy every second of every day, which is not possible nor desirable, and to, tell my stories.
So that's the difference between happier and happiness. The reason you didn't title it Happiness Made Simple is because it's a facade to believe that you want to be happy every single moment of every day.
Absolutely. You know what? It reminds me, and I think I tell this in the book, but I don't remember. There's a Twilight Zone episode. So many lessons in Twilight Zone. There's a Twilight Zone episode where this man, is not living the best life, and he dies, and he is sent to what he thinks will be the place down under, and everything is going right. Like, he wakes up, and every bet he places, he wins. Every woman he wants to be with, he gets. And at first he is ecstatic, and eventually he's bored. Not that being happy is boring, but it's not what we're here to do. And when he asks his guardian angel to please send him to the other place, he goes, you are in the other place. So Rod Serling, man, he was like so full of great morals. But as I was writing the book, a new catchphrase, and I put it in the final edit, came out with something called toxic positivity. These are the people that are like, joy, joy, joy. You're going to be happy all the time. You're supposed to be happy all the time. Spread sunshine wherever you go. And I don't think that's why we're here. We're not here with a goal to be happy. I believe we're here to meet our challenges and to reach our goals and to work hard and to help each other and to laugh together and to connect with other people and to teach and to learn. And you don't do that without challenges. What I wanted to write about was not getting stuck in anxiety and pessimism, so that you have the tools you need to move forward and do the necessary work to live happier moments, which add up to the energy to do what you want to do.